Most of you here have never met me before today, yet you might already know me or someone like me. I am an Army brat, a local high schooler, and I'm a survivor of sexual abuse. Does this surprise you? It shouldn't. Every 98 seconds, another American is sexually assaulted, leaving me to be one of millions of survivors living their day-to-day lives. You most likely either know a survivor or are a survivor, as disheartening as that may be. I never realized how widespread a problem that sexual violence was until my image of reality was shattered, leaving me to pick up the pieces of who I thought I was, what I thought I knew. I soon realized I would never get back to that ignorance I so happily lived in, but instead I was granted with a perspective that will hopefully shatter your preconceived notions on how you know me and us, so you may understand me and the millions of survivors living around this country with this rampant problem. My story is one of confusion and anger at myself, and anger at everyone around me. I was sexually abused as a child, and I had repressed the incident in my memory for almost 7 years. One day, the floodgates opened, and suddenly I was something else. I had become completely dissociated from myself. My self-image was shattered. My emotions were lost, then jumbled, then lost again as I tried to claw back to who I thought I was. At first, I tried to deny it, telling myself anything to believe I was wrong or mistaken. Still, I recognized my own attempts at gaslighting, which is making myself doubt my own real memories. I could not reject the past. I quickly buried it instead. If I had done it for so long, why not continue? My frustration at myself leaked out towards others. I became short-tempered, easily enraged by the smallest of things. My patience was spent, leaving me a raw nerve for the world to poke and prod. I would deal with such questions as, how could I have never said anything? How could I have let this happen? With my failed attempts to keep the truth buried, I had to confront this head on. My first step, after the initial shock wore off and I researched as much as a middle schooler could, I came to 3 resolutions, promises to myself from what I saw as my grim hope. 1, I would not cry over it, plain and simple. Tears meant the fear had won. 2, I would not burden my family with this. This was my burden and mine alone. Finally, I accepted I would not pursue justice. Well, as sad and as unreasonable as that may sound, it made perfect sense to 14-year-old me. I did only keep one of those promises, not crying. I did 2 years later disclose to my family, and I did get justice, but not courtroom or traditional justice. Now, when we imagine justice, we think of the offender in jail and the survivor, me, fully at peace. I can assure you that is not the justice I have found. He has not suffered any legal repercussions, and I am not at peace, at least over the injustice I have felt. The justice I have found has been completely for myself, not the state, other survivors, or even my family, no one else. My justice is acceptance of what happened, knowing that I'm not at fault for it happening, but also I have a control, I have responsibility of how it affects me. The ultimate payback was gaining back the control that was stolen away from me. This awful event did take a part of me, but I have filled that hole with the desire to help and understand other survivors. The peace that was taken away, the unrest that followed suit, I used to fuel my search of more for myself and compassion towards others. Simply, it is my justice. It is my hope. Today, my story is one voice out of a screaming crowd begging for recognition. Too often, we are subjected to a one-dimensional image of a victim, and if we don't fall in it, we're lying. Now, as large of a problem sexual violence is, we can't keep perpetuating this mold of rigid expectations that silences those they don't feel like fall in it. I know this because I've been on both sides of this. I have held such archaic beliefs, and I've been subjected to them. Myself and the many survivors stand here for a call for a change of thought, to fix the errors in our system, to give a voice to those who have long been silenced, and to actually listen to each person's unique story. Thank you.